So Netflix, Warner defend proposed deal in Senate hearing. This is a Wall Street Journal story. It got nasty very quick. Rob, if you want to go to the Josh Hawley clip before we go to the Ted Cruz one, co-CEO Ted Sarandos defended the streaming company's planned $72 billion acquisition of Warner Brothers and HBO Max at a Senate hearing Tuesday that occasionally grew contentious. The best part of this that I want you to watch is here with Josh Hawley. Josh Hawley pushes both of these guys, and they couldn't answer a couple of the questions he asked. Go ahead, Rob.
That so much of Netflix content for children promotes a transgender ideology. Almost half of your content for children, I'm talking about minor children now, I'm not talking about teenagers, minor children, promotes a transgender ideology agenda. I was just looking at the data here from your various series. And what concerns me is just 2 days ago, a jury in New York awarded a former transitioner $2 million because she said that her psychologists and others pressured her into, they pushed on her an ideology that proved to be extremely detrimental. I'm sure you know that in the UK, the National Health Service in the UK has said that they're not going to perform transgender surgeries or any longer so-called gender-affirming care for minors, including in counseling, because it is so incredibly detrimental. Our own HHS has come forward with similar findings this past year, yet if you turn on Netflix, you'll find that an enormous amount, and I say this as a parent with 3 young children, an enormous amount of your children's programming has this ideology and agenda in it. Is this an advocacy position for Netflix? Is this an ideological commitment you have? I mean, why is this?
Senator Hawley, Netflix has no political agenda of any kind. I would tell you that.
Well, then why is your children's program so full of this highly sexualized, highly controversial agenda? I don't understand it. It seems strange to me.
Respectfully, sir, it's because it's inaccurate. We have millions of hours of children's programming.
You're saying it's not there. You don't have trans. You don't feature trans characters, trans storylines, trans themes. It's not in your programming.
I'm saying we feature a wide variety of stories and programs to meet a wide variety of people's tastes.
Why is almost half of it? Why does almost half of your children's program feature this highly controversial, highly sexualized material? That just seems strange to me. It can't possibly be a reflection of the population.
Senator Hawley, I don't have any idea where that number would come from or what that would be. I don't believe that's been your personal experience, but I can't speak to that.
Well, what do you mean you don't think it's been my personal experience? You don't think that I monitor what my children watch on your? Here's what I tell you what my personal experience is since you bring it up.
Rob, can you pause it real quick? Pause it right there. Can you go a little bit to the end where the HBO Max guy responds?
Look at his blink
rate. Keep going.
Yeah, he does not look comfortable.
No, he doesn't look comfortable. Do me a favor. Go back to the Ted Cruz one if you could. Because what Josh Hawley continues to say is, we're watching movies, we're watching all this stuff. We don't let our kids watch movies before we watch them ourselves. This part he talks about what Billie Eilish said, we live on stolen land. I want you to go on the second half of this interview. If you go right around there, go back a little bit, like 30 seconds before he starts talking. Right, go right there. That's good, from right there.
Are people at home, how should they feel even remotely confident that if this merger happens, the combined entity would not simply be a propaganda outlet pushing one particular political view with much greater market power than you have now?
Well, sir, we would fail. We would fail pushing a political view or propaganda. We deliver entertainment to consumers. Our consumers see our business pretty much the way they see America. About 40% conservative, about 40% liberal, about 20% don't know. And when they turn on TV, they're tuned in to be entertained. And if we fail to entertain them by trying to promote propaganda or anything other than entertainment, we fail.
Mr. Campbell, same question to you.
We see the world very similar.
Did we lose it or did he lose it?
We have a very broad range of content across not only HBO Max, but all of our platforms that we need to appeal to all audiences. Our content ranges from Hard Knocks from the NFL to shows like Deadliest Catch and Gold Rush. It's a very broad collection of programming that represents broad interests across America.
You have a wide range of programming on HBO. Name one program that is designed to appeal to conservatives.
We don't design our programming to appeal to
I can
any
think of a lot that are designed to go to liberals. Name one.
None of our shows
don't
are
exist.
designed to go to any political group. They're designed to appeal to.
Really, John Oliver's not designed to appeal to a certain group?
It's a program that for which there's.
You just said none of your program is. Look, let me ask you, do you think CNN is fair and balanced?
I do believe CNN is a fair.
So when
balanced
CNN
news
showed
organization.
riots and fires behind them, and you put a chyron, mostly peaceful but fiery protest, was that journalism?
Sir, I'm not involved with CNN, and in fact, they're not part of this transaction, but they have an independent editorial board, they have independent news gathering. We don't direct.
They have no independence other than hating Donald Trump, which is why their viewership numbers have plummeted, because they don't actually report news. They instead engage in very biased propaganda. And I will say the truest words you said a minute ago is when you said, with respect to Mr. Sarandos, well, he and I see the world in very much the same way. That is exactly the problem, that in the world of journalism, it should not be propaganda. In the world of entertainment, there is a reason why entertainers who are even slightly right of center get blackballed in Hollywood, writers get blackballed in Hollywood, actors get blackballed
You
in
can pause
Hollywood.
it right there. Okay, so Tom, concerned with this, because it's getting to the point where, you know, the deal's about to get wrapped up. They're going to get destroyed the next couple weeks with a bunch of these hearings. And then eventually, is anything going to be able to stop this deal from happening?
Well, yes, the Federal Trade Commission can stop the deal. What they are going to do is they're going to spin out all the cable nets into an independent company. That's CNN and all those things. And they're going to throw that on the stock market. Then they're going to merge the two libraries. That is the plan here. Now, 60% chance of being successful is what people see here, but these numbers can jump around. This is Kalshi, and I don't think the Federal Trade Commission has spoken. These are congressional hearings that are bringing things forward, and the Federal Trade Commission is going to be the one that has the final say. And we saw how the movement was so radical when Warsh was dropping, and then suddenly one comment from the White House, boom, Warsh was the guy. And so right here, what you see, they are trying to convince Congress that, number one, this will not create too much market power, when in fact it'll create a streaming giant with over 30% market share of total streaming, number one. Number two, you have now price power over the consumers, and Netflix has been incrementally raising price, and the Federal Trade Commission's job is to ensure that there's competition in market so prices can be moderated through competitive offers. So these guys are here to say, we're not a monopoly, it's not going to be there. And they just got pulled into the vortex of reality by saying, hey, we don't have advocacy. That's a clever word that they're using. We don't have advocacy. Means we don't have an advocate group that specifically says this. But they have advocacy by default because they know the opinions of the showrunners and the producers that they're funding. And they're simply not funding showrunners and producers that run with core conservative or core family programming.
And by the way, while you're talking here, Rob, can you pull up the stats when he was saying half of it is LGBTQ? Is this the article? Is this from Washington Times?
Yes, sir.
Okay, perfect. If you go a little bit lower to the stats, right there. The organization's report, LGBTQ messaging pervasive in Netflix children programming, showed that both 41% of G-rated programs and 41% of TV Y7 shows include LGBTQ elements, a result that CWA president and CEO Penny Nance called shocking. 41%. That's absolutely insane to be thinking about that, especially following a $2 million lawsuit that just came out with a young girl who transitioned, and now she got $1.6 million, I think, and another $400,000 for a total of $2 million. They're one, playing with fire. Two, parents are not supporting. Ted Sarandos did say, look, Josh, you have the ability to control what your kids get to watch. You get to say you don't get to watch this. It doesn't show up in the search. And then Josh is like, I don't even want to do that, right? I don't even want to go through it. Jeff, where do you stand with this?
Well, I think one of the things that he said was that if we do this, we fail. in many ways, this merger is a failure, because if they were succeeding, they would stand alone. They wouldn't need to do the merger. The reason why they're merging in the first place is because they need to create a larger content library that appeals to more people, because their individual content library, let's face it, is just garbage. Netflix should be dominating completely. The fact that they're not, and they're actually trying to buy Warner's library, it is an acknowledgement that they have failed, that their agenda has failed, and they're trying to keep it going for as long as they possibly can. I think this is one of those situations where they've created a monster they can no longer control. When everybody started to shift to streaming, companies just threw money at Hollywood. So just give me content. I don't care what it is. I need content.
Yep.
I need content to get subscribers. And Hollywood is notoriously left-leaning. Let's be honest here. It's incredibly left-leaning. So they enabled all of these left-leaning producers, like you said, showrunners, talent, and everybody, and just gave them gobs of money, created tons of content, and now they're stuck because these are their one source of content creation, and they can't really do much about it. They can't go back in the other direction because the people that they've enabled would absolutely revolt if they even thought about doing something differently. So to me, in many ways, this merger is an acknowledgement that we failed in that model. We have been doing advocacy.
Do you think
whether
it'll
accident or
succeed? Do you
purpose.
think they'll succeed? Do you think it'll get done?
I think the merger is going to happen.
Do you think the merger is going to happen?
I think it will happen.
Okay, even if the involvement of whose approval do they need?
Federal Trade Commission.
Yeah,
They need
FTC.
and Federal Trade Commission. The guy that runs it. What do we know about?
Carr.
No, it's not Carr. That's FCC.
FCC is Brandon
Yeah.
Carr.
FCC is Carr, but FTC is Andrew N. Ferguson. What do we know about him? He got appointed in January of last year, I believe. Zoom in a little bit.
Yeah, look at who he replaced. Remember who he replaced was the anti-businesswoman?
Solicitor, Virginia.
Yeah.
Because, Ferguson was born in background as graduate from Eastern Minnesota. Go a little bit lower, legal career. What did he do? The law school.
Lena Khan. Remember her?
I do remember Lena Khan.
Communist. She was there, a freaking communist.
From 2016 to 2017, he clerked for Justice Clarence Thomas of the Supreme Court. Okay, so go to Lena Thomas. Lena Khan. Go to Lena Khan to the right, preceded by Lena Khan.
I
And
call
we
her
remember
communist
her.
in my own opinion,
We
obviously.
definitely remember her. She was all over the place, and we were talking about her as well on the podcast. So how much authority does he have to prevent this from happening? Can he prevent this deal from happening?
I think what they really have. Sorry, Tom.
Don't
but
they have a board of five?
yes.
They have to find some
His
kind of
pen
legal
can.
basis. They can't just willy nilly say we're.
and there's not a monopoly law doesn't exist here because it's not like it's about 50%.
Yeah, so I think unless they have some kind of legal basis that's already been spun up that we haven't heard about, which is possible, I just don't think it's likely.
Brandon, where are you at with this?
Yeah, I don't think that it's as certain that Netflix goes ahead with this because it doesn't feel like Trump wants that to be the case. Doesn't feel like the conservatives want that to be the case. I think they'd rather have Oracle, Paramount / Oracle, like in my view. But I think both scenarios are bad for different reasons. I think Netflix, because of the propaganda side, Paramount because of the control side, because of some of the things that they're aligned with. But what Hawley said, there's totally true, or what the Serrano said that Hawley is true as far as. How are you controlling what your kids watch? Maybe he's able to, but a lot of parents aren't able to control what their kids watch. And Netflix got to that position where, since they were first, I think they were able to be comfortable in, putting out propaganda, putting out their messaging they're aligned with because they were comfortable in that number one position. Because their stock's still doing really well. They're still, have a ton of market share for kind of abusing their product for a long time. So, I think that. It's unfortunate that a lot of parents probably don't even have the ability to make sure their kids aren't watching that stuff, and it does a lot of damage to society. Like, we've seen those charts that show, was it 20% of Gen Z identifies as part of LGBT? Where's that coming from? It's coming from entertainment and education. So, I think it's a threat to society to let them just get away with it. Yeah, Rob's got it right there. So, I think this is a direct result of stuff like this that we're talking about. That doesn't just come out of nowhere. It's from school and from entertainment.
Yeah, it's true. And Rob, can you do me a favor? Pull up Netflix's market cap. If you can type in Netflix market cap, last 12 months. I'm curious to know how the go-to year,
They
if you
split
could.
recently.
Yeah, and then zoom in a little bit so we can see it closer, Rob. So what was it in 6 months ago? What number was it? 120, 130? 133.91. It's 79. Can you go based on the market cap instead of what the stock price is? So it's down. If we look at market cap,
You see what the market thinks? The market thinks you're
That's
going to
exactly
get less
what I'm
valuable by doing this.
Yes, so market cap 337.
Or do they think it's not going to happen?
Is there a market cap high of, because I think they hit $500 billion, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
They were close to $500 billion at one point. So they've lost 150. Okay, yeah, so 407. No, that's just the market cap. It's not the peak. I think they hit $500 billion, or if not 470, 480 in
Well,
market
what's the
cap.
price right now? Price
So
right
79, 130. So 79, 130,
It's taking a
50
pretty
up.
big
So
tumble
50
here.
up on 70. It's 80%.
There you go.
80% higher. Yeah, they hit $500 billion market cap. So, Tom, did you have any final thoughts on
Yeah,
this?
I have a dark thought. Ellison's want to buy the whole thing, and they want the cable nets, Pat. They want CNN and the cable channels. So the Ellisons, Paramount, want to buy the whole thing. If they do, you saw what they did to CBS, right? What do you think they're going to do to CNN? They're going to neutralize it, bring it back to the center. This is what the rest of the industry doesn't want. They don't want another news channel to come back to neutral or, Lord God, one-click conservative.
By the way, so Brandon, why do you say neither is a case you want? Neither Paramount and neither this. So you would rather have Netflix control. You have to choose between the two.
Yeah. I mean, for the immediate future, probably Paramount's better, but long term, I don't like some of the things that Ellison's stand for, based on what they say in the past. Like we've seen the videos of Larry Ellison saying how he monitors his people at work. You get a little break from the body camera when you go to the bathroom or when you go hang out with your friends, but it's still recording and it could be retrieved with a corridor. So some of those sensibilities make me a little bit uncomfortable, but I get what you're saying, that short term, yes, they're conservative, they're more reasonable, so it's better than Netflix and their propaganda.
No, I think long term, Netflix is going to be worse.
Oh, yeah, for sure. That's what I'm saying.
I think short term, mid term, long term, Netflix is worse than Paramount. Where are you at with this?
Oh, I mean, look at what do people watch on Netflix? They watch old reruns of The Office and Friends, right? They don't watch the new content. Again, I go back to this. This is the industry kind of trying to stay in the same mode, realizing they're failing. What would really work is somebody coming along and saying, "Look, we need to actually do what the guy said. We need to make content that appeals to actually the entire country and the entire audience instead of a narrow focus." And so, in many ways, the merger is the industry trying to resist that. So I think it's positive in the respect that it's being forced to do something, and eventually that might actually correct with market forces, but it's going to take a while to get there.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, when you look at that, you got the two behemoths, right? You got Netflix is dealing with a problem trying to buy Time Warner, and Paramount, the Ellisons are trying to pick up Time Warner. We'll see what happens. By the way, if there's a strange turn of events and all of a sudden, boom, they're out, FTC's not allowing this to happen, and then they're looking at Paramount as a possible buyer. What a curveball. Imagine you're looking at this in 6 months and David Ellison is sitting next to the CEO of Time Warner, and they're having this type of conversation. Gang, once a year we host an event called the Sales Leadership Summit. If you're a sales leader running a business and you want to find out how is the most effective way to move your revenue, watch this clip about the event that's coming up with Sales Leadership Summit. Go ahead, Rob. Say you're a CEO, you're a boss, you're an executive, you're a leader. Which of these four feelings do you want your employees or your sales team to feel the most? Do you want them to like you? Do you want them to trust you? Do you want them to respect you? Or do you want them to fear you? And if I was to ask you to order them and say, I think I want them to like me first, then I want them to trust me, then I want them to respect me, I don't want them to fear me, right? This whole thing that we're talking about. Developing salespeople and a big sales team, which can exponentially increase the valuation of your company, your income, your lifestyle. This is a big problem to solve. You have to get these four things in order while you're developing people. Once a year, I host a conference called the Sales Leadership Summit, which is purely about developing salespeople. And we go through this 200-page manual together. This year, we're doing it at the Trump Doral from March 25th to the 27th. And that dynamic of like, trust, respect, and fear is one of the ones that creates a lot of debate. If you want to find out how you can attend this event, click on a link below, get registered. One of our consultants will get a hold of you. All right, having said that, click on a link below. This is, you have to qualify to attend. You need to do a minimum of $1 million and have 5 people on your sales team to attend this conference. But the link is below. Click on it, talk to our consultants. They will tell you all about it. Cannot wait to see many of you there. this year at Trump Doral. If you enjoyed this video, you want to watch more videos like this, click here. And if you want to watch the entire podcast, click here.